In this episode, we're talking about church security basics, and I want to talk about using the teamwork approach, gathering people to assist you, making a team. Even if you're a one-person team, one man, one woman, whatever it looks like, or a couple of you, I want to talk to you about pulling other folks into this process to create a team to protect the church. So there's lots of other folks involved in this process, and I just want to make sure that we're working on it. You know, we're talking to them and we're picking out different people to help you see things that are going on, to help you prepare, communicate ahead of time. Those are all important things. And this process, you know, I have people asking me all the time, how do we really get this thing moving or get some energy going in this, or how do I get a stagnant situation going? And I'm telling you, by drawing other people in, by talking about it, sending emails, communicating with people, maybe even having a team meeting, whatever that looks like for you, it begins to energize things and gets people on the same page. You know, nobody really wants to be part of a group, even if it's 2 or 3 people, that they really don't know where we're going or what's going on or who's part of it or who's in charge. So those are important things. And really one of my big goals today is I want to remind you, really, even if you're a one-person team, most of you probably have 2 or 3 people, but even if you're a one-person team getting this thing going, I want to get you thinking about just how many people are really involved in this process or could be involved in this process. First of all, we have the leadership. Whoever the leadership is, your priest, pastor, whoever that is, he or she is in charge. And we want to remember that. We don't want to turn into something that is a entity, a group that's complaining all the time about what's going on. We want to be taking information to the leaders, asking them what they want us to do, and we want to follow that. We want to respect the fact that they've been placed in that leadership position. We're volunteering or working under them and under their leadership. So that's very important. And that's not just a church principle, that's a security principle as well. So when we're talking about church security, that is one of the basic principles is we follow the leaders. So, and we talk about always making sure there's a leader in charge of your church security team. If the leader goes out of town, then who's in charge at that point, that kind of thing. So this leadership concept and respecting leadership and following through with what they want, very important at the center. As you look at this diagram, I'm showing you a diagram here and kind of an outline overview of what we're talking about, represents that group. So, and then in that group at the top, then you have your security, you have your medical teams, you have your ushers, you know, those might be other people. So you have medical folks, ushers. Can you pull some of those in to help you? And how that works is sometimes in security, all we need is another set of eyes. We need somebody to detect something and bring it to our attention. Or we might need somebody to go with us, that universal, can you go with me? So ushers, if you're not a security/usher already, and you have other ushers that can assist you, ask them ahead of time, plan ahead of time. Hey, can I, if I get somebody that's a little bit rowdy and I have to take them into the parking lot, will you go with me when I motion to you? Will you go with me? Will you keep an eye on me? Or will you jump in if I need some kind of help? So you kind of have to pick and choose who your people are, who you're going to ask to jump in if there's a tussle. And we want to be cautious about that, not get anybody hurt. And so, but, sometimes it's just another set of eyes. And then when we talk about, if we're dealing with somebody that's the opposite gender of you, if you're a female security member and you're dealing with a male, or you're a male security member and you're dealing with a female who's out of control, you want to get somebody that's the same gender as them. So you're a male, you're dealing with a female, you want to have a female that you can wave to and say, hey, can you go outside with us? We're going to go outside because she's being loud, and whatever the situation is, you're taking her outside. You need to be able to flag to a female, motion for them to assist you. So we work on that together. Where do those folks come from? Ushers, other greeters, other areas that we might pull someone from to just be a set of eyes to keep an eye on what we're doing and help protect our liability and stuff, so somebody doesn't make false accusations against us, or somebody to help us in those situations. So, and certainly we want to work out medical team if we can identify who's got medical training in the church, by going around and asking people, and you probably already have a clue by where they work. Maybe they're a firefighter, EMT, or a nurse, or a doctor. We want to try to work out with them ahead of time. Hey, what can we do to prepare for if we have a person go down? Because that's a likely issue as we talk about those, a medical emergency. What are the likely issues? Medical emergencies, service interruptions. Somebody comes in and yells and wants to interfere with the service in different ways. And then, of course, your domestic violence, child custody issues, those kind of things where people are at each other, or not happy with each other, arguing, fighting. So those are the three likely issues. So one of those most likely is a medical issue. So if you can put together some kind of medical team or a medical person in your church that you know of, and kind of have a conversation with them. Now so far what we've got about them, we've only really talked about a couple of blocks here in this diagram that I've got for you, but now already we're talking about finding somebody that might have some medical experience to help you, and we're talking about an usher or greeter or somebody else that can be eyes for you if something happens. So, and then we go to the next block, which is office staff. Do you have office staff or administrators in the church? And oftentimes this stuff doesn't start on Saturday or Sunday mornings or whenever your main meetings are. It often doesn't start then. It sometimes will start with people hanging out around the church ahead of time, or scoping the church out a little bit for whatever reason, or showing up and visiting the church. And I've seen in one church that I attended, I've seen a person that was gearing up to create problems, being at the church every day for 7 days, starting on Monday and going through the following Monday, and creating problems on Sunday for that church. So, it doesn't just necessarily just happen on Sunday or Saturday, whatever day you meet, and or even for Wednesday night. So getting the office staff, meeting with them. If there's people that work in the office, talk to them about, hey, let you know, or if you have a suspicious car that you see on Sunday, let them know about it as well, so that they're aware and can watch out and see if it showed up again in that process. Then next we have the facility staff, people that are working, in the evenings, at night, early morning, during the week. They may be doing events on certain nights or Saturdays, doing weddings or something like that. Incorporate them, talk to them a little bit, send them a note and say, hey, if you see suspicious vehicles or anything that's out of line, or somebody shows up to church, let me know. Give me a little description of who they were, and talk to them a little bit. And if you have something suspicious, send them an email about that process as well. So make sure and let them know, keep them in your loop. And now you can see your team begins to widen out. It may just be you that's designated as security, but now you begin to have other people that are assisting you, and that becomes a great deal for you. Other eyes and ears, and maybe some other hands to help you if the process, if something happens. Then we look at teachers, volunteers, other areas that I may not even be thinking about. You may have some special group, parking lot staff, or something along those lines that you can begin to talk to and say, hey, watch for this, or we had this suspicious person. So they may even hear, our number 3 likely issue for churches is domestic violence and those kind of things. And these teachers may even overhear things from parents that come in to pick up kids or something, and they can let you know that they overheard that a lady was complaining that her husband's gone off the deep end or something, and she's a little bit concerned about him. So they can let you know that, hey, this is a possibility, and this is what's going on in their life. So, and now we're a little bit more aware. So all this communication, incorporating other people into your team, so to speak, or into your communication network, is a very good thing for you, no matter how big your team is. Other local churches, it doesn't hurt to communicate with other churches as well about the situation. And so send them notes, send them emails, try to gather a bit of an email list maybe to where you can send stuff to them as well. And give them a vehicle description, give them a person description, describe to them what was going on in that situation. So, and then hopefully you get this little team established, you get this little email list established, and hopefully they will send you stuff as well. So, and then we don't want to forget about contacting other local law enforcement as well. Your local folks, communicate with them as well, and let them know if you have something odd that goes on, or ask them questions, kind of establish a little bit of communication with them so that you can ask them helpful questions, or you can alert them to something. Maybe even you establish a relationship to where you think something's going on. Maybe you can ask them for a little extra patrol in the parking lot, or ask them to swing by and have a cup of coffee and hang out for a little bit at the start of service, because you're a little concerned about this rumor you heard about this husband that's kind of going off the deep end or having issues, whatever that is. And so now you're maybe a team of one or two, but now you begin to blossom a little bit into a bigger network, if you will, of people that can assist you. So we want to constantly be looking at that, creating a bigger situation, creating teamwork as an approach to our situation. Don't just be stuck in that idea of I'm the only one doing security. That should not be true, but it does fall back on you to create this network. So don't feel down and out, don't feel like you're just a team of one. Create this. Use it as an opportunity to create a bigger network for yourself. So thank you for joining me for this quick edition. And I am so glad that you were here, that you listened. And I hope until I see you again on the next video that you have a safe and secure week. Thank you.